In the not-so-far-distant past, when Dr. Octopus was the superior Spider-Man, we see the young Bailey Briggs as Spider-Boy swinging through the night skies of New York with his sick new web shooters given to him by Spidey, who said that he's been much cooler lately, not fully realizing that his friend's body had been taken over by a homicidal madman. Landing into a nearby alley, the child came across a familiar item, one of the masks of the Demon Gang, worn by the henchmen of Martin Lee, aka the dangerous and powerful crime lord, Mr. Negative. Upon touching the mask, Bailey's senses warned him of great danger. However, it was not the demons who were causing it. It was none other than his friend Spider-Man, who had been beating them to a bloody pulp. Things then cut to a nearby dock, where the superior Spider-Man had just finished laying waste to Lee's men, with only them left standing. Before the pair could engage, they were met by Spider-Boy, who asked his friend just what the heck was going on, and was rather traumatized to see that Peter had straight up murdered Lee's goons. The superior Spider-Man then rightfully defended his brutality by explaining that Mr. Negative and his troops had advanced healing and were incapable of dying. Thus him stabbing them repeatedly and breaking their bones was perfectly fine. Hey man, it's sound logic. This is why Doc Ock is the GOAT Spider-Man. Spidey then reveals that this specific location was a warehouse for the Fantastic Four, which housed several Negative Zone batteries, which Lee was planning to use to augment his powers to the point of near godhood. While this indeed was true, Lee then also informs the boy that the two-timing wall crawler had beaten him to the place where he planned to steal the gear for himself. While we all know this was an absolute fact and Otto was planning to do all sorts of mad science with it, he then quickly makes up a lie that he was stealing it from Lee to transfer it to a safer location. Remarking at how strange Spidey had been acting lately, Bailey offered to use his spider sense to scan him and see what was wrong, only for Otto to violently swipe at the kid, saying not to touch him. Given his innocence, Bailey thought that there was no way the real Spider-Man would act like this, and deduced that he was under Mr. Negative's control this whole time. Before he could act, Lee then infected the child with his power, where he instructed his newest spider soldier to kill the wall crawler. The brainwashed Bailey then viciously attacked Otto, where he managed to surprise the man with his uncapped power and speed. In fear that the child's psychic touch would reveal his true identity, Octavius went to end things, where he was suddenly met by flashbacks of his childhood, where he remembered his father who would abuse him. Snapping back to reality, Otto swore he would never hit a child, where he was then brutally attacked by Briggs. Taking advantage of the situation, Lee then fired up one of the Fantastic cars and went to escape, only to be met by the new Fantastic Four, who arrived to get their gear back. Not going down without a fight, Mr. Negative then used his power to resurrect his men, leading to an all-out war with the heroes on the dock floor. We then cut back to Spider-Man, who had enough of being assaulted by a kid, where he then slammed Bailey into the ground and screamed at him, saying he was nothing more than a spider imposter and was a sad, pathetic child who would never amount to greatness. The verbal assault was insulting enough to wear off the effects of Negative's energy, where the boy apologized and began to cry, where Spidey was then admonished by the Fantastic Four for being an absolute menace to a little boy. See guys, Jameson, he was onto something this whole time. Not backing down to what he said, Otto told the group he was never meant to have a sidekick anyway, and was done with the kid, where he left the broken child to fend for himself. Looking on as the superior son of a witch swung away, the Fantastic Four then gladly took in the young child, where they told him that there were plenty of gifted youth like him at the Baxter building.